My favorite saint is Saint John Baptiste de La Salle. He is the founder of the de La Salle Christian Brothers, a patron saint of educators, and I was educated by the Christian Brothers in both high school and college and learned a great deal about their spirituality. In fact, my episcopal motto is taken from his tradition, live Jesus in our hearts. It's a reminder that we need to grow closer to the Lord, and there is no higher goal than to have that intimate heart-to-heart relationship with God. I certainly wasn't expecting becoming a bishop in the middle of a pandemic. That first year and a half was like swimming in syrup. It was very difficult to get to know the people and the territory and the priests when you were separated and socially distanced and behind masks. That was probably the biggest challenge that I faced. I knew what the role of a bishop was, but I had never lived it out. And certainly I hadn't lived it out in the midst of live streaming and all of the challenges that those times presented. Well, it was at the beginning of the pandemic. It was Monday of Holy Week. And I knew that we were going to have a busy week because we were filming Easter Mass on Tuesday so that we could broadcast it to the city on Easter Sunday. And I was doing laundry. I had put clothes in the washer. We had a common apartment area, and I had 2 loads in washers, and it came time to put the 2 loads in the dryers, and a phone call came, and it said Washington, D.C., and I thought, I don't know anybody in Washington, so I let it ring through. And it wasn't until got the clothes in the dryer that I looked and saw that the robocall left a message, and as it turns out, it was the nuncio. And I called him back, and when he told me that I had been appointed Bishop of Alexandria, I just was silent for a good length of time. And finally he says, "Hello?" And I said, "I'm here." But I really had no response at that point. So I asked if I could think about it, pray about it, and eventually called him back. The Diocese of Alexandria has 13 civil parishes, what in other parts of the country would be called counties, but relatively low population in most of those. And so we are very spread out. And in a good number of our low population civil parishes, we have an even lower percentage of Catholics. So the challenge for us is to gather enough people to conduct ministry at times. And certainly that challenge is what Catholic Home Missions responds to. The Catholic Home Missions has given us grants that support our seminarian education, the continuing formation of clergy, enabling us to gather them together and bring in speakers, our diaconate formation program, which we operate in conjunction with Notre Dame Seminary in New Orleans, and we have a burgeoning marriage preparation program. We're putting together something that probably was on the decline at the beginning of the pandemic and certainly sort of fell apart, which was a diocesan-wide or coordinated marriage preparation program. We're putting that back together, recognizing that we're so spread out that we can't just have one location. We need to make this something that our deaneries and our clusters of parishes can operate and make use of on their own. Central Louisiana, because of its rural, because of the rural territory and relatively small population, is unlike southern Louisiana, or for that matter, the rest of the South. It has a blend of cultures, from Natchitoches meat pies to couchons de lait, which are pig roasts of some type, and various food and festivals that give that special part of Louisiana its own unique flavor. And we try to express that, both in recognizing who the people are, but also in how their cultural traditions have shaped their religious traditions. I think I'm proud of all of our priests who are day in and day out serving the people of God, who are celebrating Mass, the sacraments, reaching out, caring for the sick, educating. And I think especially as I got to know them in the middle of the pandemic, how they were struggling to maintain contact with their people. A large number of our diocese does not have broadband Wi-Fi. So the easy way of telecommunicating wasn't there. So they had to make a lot of phone calls and do a lot of socially distant waving just to stay in touch with their people. And they put themselves on the line and garbing up and going to hospitals and nursing homes and trying to bring the presence of God in there. I was proud of all of our priests. My first few years as a priest came after 12 years as a lawyer and 5 years in seminary. So the real cultural shift was from independence as a professional to back to school in a somewhat crowded dorm-like setting. And then the beauty of the Diocese of Memphis, where I'm from, is that I got a wide variety of experiences in my first 5 years, from being an associate under 2 different pastors in a suburban setting to being pastor of essentially 3 communities in a rural setting, and then back as a bilingual pastor in the heart of Memphis. So all of those experiences helped me see that the church is alive in very different communities, and the skill set you need to talk to suburban school children and to rural parishioners, and especially to a bilingual community where half of the time you're switching languages in the same sentence, really challenges but enlivens you to share the faith in whatever context you find yourself. I think I would encourage a priest who finds themselves in their first assignment to embrace the assignment, to learn who the people of God in that community are, not assuming that they are just like the last community they left, the one they grew up in. I found myself a missionary in my own diocese, in my own hometown. They may find themselves in similar situations. It is about serving the people of God, not about, okay, here's what I have to offer, and I hope you enjoy it. We are there to adapt ourselves to the people. I am a product of the Catholic school system in the Diocese of Memphis, a wonderful Catholic family, and I thought about being a priest at a young age. But as time went on, it was the 70s, and the church's footing wasn't necessarily stable in those immediate years after the Second Vatican Council. So, and I was introduced to a more lucrative world in law. I got a law degree. I practiced law for 12 years in private practice and in as a staff attorney for a national bank and its investment banking subsidiaries. So I was comfortable, but I wasn't fulfilled. I found that day to day, I wanted more. And so I asked myself, what is it about law that I love? And there wasn't much. What is it that I love doing? And that was the work I was doing in a parish. I was helping teach RCIA. I was a lector. I was in the choir. I was very active. And that's where God was bringing me life. And so I made the somewhat difficult decision to sell the house and to tell my folks I was leaving a secure job and to venture into the world of the seminary and a religious vocation. And I have questioned my vocation from time to time in some difficult moments, but I've never questioned the course of the vocation or what it was that drew me, because that has always been fulfilling.